Before we get started, please take the time to like, add, and subscribe to our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes. Also, please leave us a review.
He went into high alert. Fires could be just as devastating then as they are now. Duh. White rode closer to see what was happening. How big was the fire? Was it moving quickly? What direction was it burning? White rode to the fire so he could report back to camp with the most accurate information possible. As White approached the cave, however,
we can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Shaplink!
What's up, everybody? Welcome. It is another wonderful Wednesday here with the Wandering Ways crew. I am the Reverend Marcus, and with me, as usual, Ranger Zach. How we doing, Ranger Zach?
Fantastic. As you do that opening, I'm wondering, should we just record it and get it going and then be like, the Nature Podcast.
No, I think that's a little too zing zing zow zow type thing. I don't think that's really our style.
Okay, fair. I like the welcoming. I like the opening. I like how it's going. I was like, do I need to chug a water bottle? Just chug it while you're saying that saying, see how much I can just get down in
you
one
just
gulp.
keep waterfalling until it's over.
Yeah, and you just keep it going longer and longer every time. No, I don't know what we'll do. I like it. I like that we've got kind of an opening now. We're just more than a clink. We want to welcome all 6 of you wanderers. No, I think there's a little bit more than that now.
There's 7.
Yeah, Josh decided to hop back on the wagon. No, just kidding.
There you go.
He doesn't listen. But speaking of that cowboy, speaking of it, he got his snow tires on that little Mazda of his, and he said, I'm gonna head out. Well, to him it's east. He's gonna head east from Oregon. And he got over here. Today he went snowboarding in the Bridger Bowl.
I saw that actually.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing. And we went fishing last weekend. We went ice fishing. Didn't catch dick.
Well, that's why they call it fishing, not catching.
Yeah, well, it was so we were fishing in 4 feet of water. So I was like, I don't think we'll catch anything. And part of that, though, there's 2 reasons. Okay. Part of it, Jared and Josh didn't really want to fish. You could tell.
Oh.
The other part was the further out we went, the shallower the ice got. There was open water in places.
And why were you on the ice then?
It was 8 inches thick where we were.
Oh.
But we drilled a hole maybe 20 yards away from the ice hut that was on 4 inches of ice.
Shit.
And well, you could kind of see the layers, right? Because of on top of the water, how it looks. But I was walking out on that 4 inches at one point, and I felt it kind of bubble is a way of saying it, where it's you step and you're just oh, but it was so clear because how it froze so clear. I could see right down through and be like, oh, look, there's a canoe paddle someone dropped.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've walked on ice before. That was only maybe 2 inches thick in reality. It was honestly really sketch that I was walking on it. It was on a golf course and we were hitting balls off the middle of this lake.
Crazy. No, but I think 2 inches is you can walk on 2 inches, but that's where it starts to get real sketch. 4 inches is pretty solid. I want to say 6 to 8 inches you can drive an ATV out on ice. And then I think it's 10 to 12 inches you can drive a truck out on the ice. I'm the guy when it comes to going out on the ice and ice fishing. I'm the guy that's look out on the water and determine okay, there's another ice fisher out there. We're good. oh, there's, like it's thick. Like there's holes when you dig your ice holes, you're like, oh, it's 12 inches thick. We're fine. This ain't going to be the end of the world. The problem I do have, uh, like with this last weekend is like Jared and Josh, like they drove Jared's Jeep to the back of the lake where like we see people go fishing all the time. The
Yeah.
problem is that's where it was more shallow. There was no people there this go around. And most of the people were off this one point, and it was like another thing kind of thing to me is when it comes to fishing is like sometimes go to where the people are,
I mean, you
because
would think so, but sometimes you don't want to be near people.
right. No, I do get that, but when we're questioning, because it has been like 50 degrees, 40 degrees, when you're questioning that aspect of the ice melting and like it getting thin, go where the people are, I feel like, because they're going to be on the thicker ice. Um, but no, you're right. I do get like you want to go away, but I think another thing with ice fishing, going by the people, what isn't terrible is there's not a lot of movement with fish when the water gets cold. So like if you can create that movement with minnows or worms or whatever you may be using, the bait, the jigs, you
Yeah.
might be attracting fish to that area.
Yeah, I feel you there.
But it's all luck in reality, and it's just hanging out with your buddies, having a good time. We were able to catch some of the football games on the phone because we had service, and you're just sitting there waiting for the rods to get hit, and you're talking, having a good time. uh we've done it in the past where we've snowmobiled, done other things like that, where you can go. It's fun. I kind of have an idea this weekend,
I
because we're
got
going.
one question about the last weekend you went on. I just
Go
got
for it.
one little question. It's probably a yes or no kind of question. You didn't catch any fish, but did you catch a heck of a good time?
Oh my goodness, yes, we did. Did you
Okay,
see the
there we go.
sunset? Did you see the sunset?
I don't think I saw
Phenomenal.
it.
It was phenomenal.
Ugh.
It not only that, but we had um the phenomenal sunset. We went to Yellowstone Hot Springs.
You
And
see the
I
comet?
no, it was too cloudy, and it's been really
Um,
cloudy. So it's
that
been pretty
sucks.
shitty. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure that out. But we went to that Yellowstone Hot Springs and I did the cold pool. I did so what you're supposed to do is you're walking they have like a hot walkway and a cold walkway, and you do the cold, you do it 7 times. You walk on each side. And then they say get in the cold pool for at least 1 second.
Yeah.
You get in the cold pool, cool off, which actually kind of feels kind of good because it is cold out. Like it was like 10 degrees out. So it's like you're frozen anyway because your upper body's cold. And then
Yeah.
you get in that cold pool and you dive into it and you're like, oh, this kind of feels good. And then you get out and you sit in the hot pool and you get that needly feeling.
Yep.
But it really was a good relaxing. And then me and Thea even drove all the way back to Billings from there. And the nice thing about that was like you could just sleep in your own bed. So it's just like all was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Oh no, I love a good hot cold contrast there like that. It feels real good. So if you can
Well, you've
find a hot
never been
springs
to
that
the
has both,
Yellowstone,
it's no, I haven't been to Yellowstone. The only one I've been over there in that area is the Chico.
the Chico. Well, at
Yeah,
least you've been
the
there.
Chico.
At
Yeah.
least you've been there. But no, we'll have to get you down in that Yellowstone one next time you're up in that area. Um, no, it was good. And then the ice fishing, we're going again this weekend, coming up like 2 days from now. Cause they're like, let's do it again. And it's just like, cause they want to go up by a lake by Bozeman and
No,
Los Angeles. So I was like, we'll try it, we'll see. Um,
you
but
never
I
know.
But what I want to do, and this is kind of what I want to run by you and the Wanderers here. So please email me at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. WANDERINGWAYSPODCAST@gmail.com. And you can shoot me what you think, but I'm going to ask Mark. So I'm going to take my camera. Oh, side note, pause before the big question. Pause. Guess what I got for the camera?
I'm gonna guess a red lens.
A 600 millimeter lens.
Oh,
Yeah, we can get some Zoom
Ooh,
going. We can get some Zoom going.
there you go. A little
So I
zoom zoom.
so I'm taking my camera up there because hopefully we get some animals. But with that being said, I was thinking, oh, I could set it up on a tripod and we can have a we could do like ice fishing and we could talk about ice fishing and we could kind of do like a live broadcast kind of thing, me, Josh, and Jared, and just talk about all the times we've been, why we do it, something to do. Because like Josh, it's funny because like one of the questions I want to ask is like, Josh, you're the one who like recommended this ice fishing trip, but last week ice fishing, you're like, I fucking hate this. Why do we do this? But yet he's the one calling me and says, "Hey, let's go to Highlight next week."
I mean, you could probably get some good stuff if you did it.
Oh, especially with Josh, you know what I mean? If you can get
Yeah,
him
it'd be
talking,
like, yeah, yeah, I just wanted to go, dude.
right? But we got to get him drinking a little bit. So I was thinking, film it in the afternoon, get that talking going, and then just boom, hammer into it, and we'll get some good content for hopefully the Wanderers, and we can post that to YouTube.
Yeah, we'll have to call that Wandering Ways After Dark, probably.
Yeah, ice fishing in the hut. In the hut.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly like that hut. In reality, if we were to like tent camp, you just bring a tarp and you lay on the tarp, or you like it just doesn't have a floor,
Well, that's the only thing.
and it just pops. It's four sizes, pops out, and the top, and then it's good, good,
Oh,
good to go.
nice. That's that's kind of legit of a setup.
Yeah, no, it's nice, and you put a like propane heater in there, and you get those ice huts up to. We're gonna, Matt Buddy here. So if you want to donate, go ahead and donate to us too. But my thought is Matt Buddy and he's coming over for President's Day,
Yeah.
and we're going to go over to Sealy and we'll go ice fish Sealy. And part of that we're thinking is buying an ice saw and buying a spear. And in the ice hut, you just open up a big fucking rectangle and you go spearing for pike.
I mean, Matt needs another way to fail at fishing, so I'm all for it.
You're not wrong because he'd be like, Matt, throw it, throw it. Why the
Yeah.
fuck did you not throw it?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that guy tries every method of fishing out there.
I love when he just like he talks sports and acts like he's so good at like, yeah, I get it. And it's like, Matt, I feel like you were the guy that got dinked in the head.
Oh, he did. Have you ever talked to him?
Yeah, right. No, that's good. But what have you been up to, my guy? I feel like we just talk ice, ice, ice.
Been surviving. That's literally all I've been doing. I mean, last time we recorded a podcast, I was still in the heat of being like sick. I didn't realize like how sick I actually was. But I mean, I was like bad. I was out
Yeah.
bad. I the night after we recorded the last episode, that night I woke up, my whole bed was just drenched in sweat because I was just sweating the whole night. And I was like in the whole cocoon position. I had my blankets like up to my freaking like chin. I had like literally only like this much uncovered of me. And I just like I was like legitimately might have been dying.
I mean, you probably did die for a bit.
Probably a little bit, but we back. We alive. We got a little bit of a cough, but and the sniffles left over, but shit, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So
You
we
hope.
it does for me. It was the first time in like 4 years that I'd been sick. I'd gone through the whole COVID thing without getting COVID. This was not COVID either. I tested for it. So still haven't gotten COVID. Loving that life. But got a more open weekend. We're gonna see. It's supposed to be clear. It's supposed to be cold. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do. We'll find out what I'm gonna do this weekend. Come the weekend. So, and then things really pick up at work. So I don't know how much. So I'll definitely need to get out and do something this weekend. So, but yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been doing a whole lot, um, which is okay because we didn't come today to record to listen to me talk about stories. We didn't come today to talk about ice, although ice is always nice and it's fun to talk about. No, today we came to continue our ABCs of the national parks, continuing in our CAs with good old Carlsbad Caverns. Lovely little spot. Haven't been. I've heard great things. But yeah, no, we're here. Carlsbad Caverns. Just some quick fire, fun quick fire facts for you. It's located in the state of New Mexico. It's
Not old
70,
Mexico.
not Old Mexico, New Mexico. It's the acreage is 73.07 miles. Visitation is 440,691 visitors in 2019. Lowest elevation of the three major levels. The deepest is 1,027 feet below ground. Average annual precipitation. The park averages 14.9 inches of annual precipitation. And when did it become a national park, you ask? Great question. It's October 25th, 1923. President Calvin Coolidge, save that one for trivia night, everybody, created Carlsbad Caverns National Park. Those are the quick fires. Make sure you save those for your next pub trivia night because you never know when you're going to need those quick facts like that.
You're not wrong, and I'm gonna call you on one because I caught it here and I heard you say it. 1928 is when it became a national monument, and then in 1930 it became a national park. So 2 years
Oh,
later, it became the 18th national park.
there you go.
Loki.
It must have been 1923 when President Coolidge created the area. So it might not even have been a monument. It might have President Coolidge might have just been like, yo, we're gonna do a thing with this.
Right here. President Calvin Coolidge set the cave aside as a national monument in 1928, and Congress would declare Carlsbad Caverns a national park 2 years later.
I don't know. My source is different. To be fair, I'm gonna kind of go off your source. So I go with the 1930 whatever.
Hey,
Um,
it's cool. It deserves to be a park. It's good that in the 30s, during that time frame in history, they were able to determine that this place needed to be set aside. I know I in the bad book, in the bad book, the subpar books by Amber Share, poorly lit and just plain is what one viewer had to say. Poorly lit. Well, yeah, you're in a cave.
I know that's
Um,
what's funny about that.
and plain, I mean, it's one of the most magnificent caves in the world. Don't they say like they have the great chandelier? One person says Will Rogers, the Grand Canyon with a roof on it.
Yeah, it makes sense because they got like it's like the big room, I think they call it, which is just this massive area, which I think you can go and visit the big room or the great room as they call it
I
when you
believe.
go to Carlsbad Caverns because there's a lot of the caves in there that you can't visit, which is fine. You don't need to see all the caves.
Well, right here. Here's the Carlsbad Caverns, the secrets to the national parks, right? Yucca Canyon Trail. Located in southeastern New Mexico's Guadalupe Mountains, Carlsbad Caverns National Park is mostly known for its 117 caves that lie beneath its rocky slopes and canyons. Above ground, however, holds wonders to as well. 250 million years ago, the mountains were a reef that edged an inland sea, and the rocks are studded with the preserved bodies of sponges, algae, and natules. People come here to visit the caves, but most forget the fact that there's over 46,000 acres here, and most of that is wilderness, says Paula Bauer, management assistant. There is marvelous hiking here. Bauer recommends Yucca Canyon Trail, which runs along the southwestern corner of the park. Accessible by road for high clearance vehicles, the trail climbs a side canyon, then levels out on top of an escarpment. Escarpment, that's a weird word. That offers a dizzying view of the vast Permian Basin, all that remains of the inland sea. Near the end of the 7.7-mile trail, hikers are rewarded with a secret stand of ponderosa pines, which is an unusual sight in Carlsbad, explains Bauer. They're a holdover from when this wasn't a desert.
So that's kind of interesting. But what I really wanted to point out was the 117 caves. So there's a lot of cave. It's a big cave system. I think Mammoth Cave is one of the largest caves, actually, like the cave networks when you talk about it, when Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky, where I do think this one has some of the most beautiful like stalagmites and stalactites in the world. I really do think Carlsbad is known for that.
Yeah, it is for that. I mean, what makes Carlsbad Cavern, I think, unique is like the size really of the different rooms. Because like I just found while you were reading that, like the big room that I was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
that one there is 8.2 acres.
Yeah.
So it's a massive area that you can like go in and be inside, which makes sense for the comment, it's a Grand Canyon with a roof on top, because that's just going to be and that would be wild to see, just go in and just see this massively opened cave network there. Caves are cool. I've been to a couple caves, but Wind Cave's the only national park cave, which is another very cool, very, very cool one. But Carlsbad, it's in New Mexico. I believe it's north New Mexico there.
No,
It is not. No,
southeast.
I get that one mixed up. I'm thinking Mesa Verde. That's on me.
But Mesa Verde is Colorado, just
Yeah,
north.
but it's just north of New Mexico.
No,
That's the area I was thinking of.
I think if you're doing this park, honestly, kind of where you're going with it, you possibly could get a Big Bend, Texas, national park, but it's a longer road trip. That might be your next destination. But you have like White Sands National Monument National Park. You have the petroglyphs in Albuquerque. You have Roswell, New Mexico, if you're into the alien hubbub. You have like Santa Fe if you're into the art scene and the cultural scene. And then like, yeah, I mean, you could maybe make the trip from a Carlsbad to a Mesa Verde if you're doing kind of a longer trip. But New Mexico itself, if you look at like White Sands, Carlsbad, Albuquerque, if you kind of kept that your base for 2, 3, 4 days, you're going to have a good time. You can make, it is beautiful. The desert is beautiful in its ways. Another kind of cool thing about this park, did you know that nearly 400,000 Brazilian free-tailed bats call the caverns home in the summer, and all they want to do at night is eat bugs, several tons of them.
Yeah, I did know that there are that many bats because I found not a very interesting, but an interesting story actually in kind of involving the bats. But and I'll go ahead and read the story here for everyone. But a 16-year-old cowboy is credited with the first cave exploration. So Jim White was rounding up cattle one evening when he spotted smoke from a wildfire off in the distance. He went into high alert. Fires could be just as devastating then as they are now. Duh. White rode closer to see what was happening. How big was the fire? Was it moving quickly? What direction was it burning? White rode to the fire so he could report back to camp with the most accurate information possible. As White approached the cave, however, he realized that it wasn't smoke he was seeing. It was bats, thousands upon thousands of Brazilian free-tailed bats. And that is how good old Jim White ended up finding the cave. And he went on to later build himself a ladder and go down into the cave. And he's been credited with naming several features that are in the cave. Like I think it's Devil's Armchair is one of them. Um, but what I love about that story is that's so many bats to think like from a distance that that's smoke from a wildfire.
Yeah, and what's crazy to think about that you say, is like used birds like the carrier pigeons used to be that way in this country until they went extinct.
Yeah.
And like animal, like I truly, truly think that there are animals out there like you used to see that, like the bison used to stop train for days. Like it should be that way. We should have more animals than people. And there's an issue with that now that like we like kind of like there's no real wild animals anymore. Even in Africa, an elephant has to cross a road. It's
Yeah.
surviving with humans, so it's like it's it's interesting kind of where we're going, and it's just like to me like that would be amazing to see bats like that and to just come across that. There's a spot, and I'm not going to talk about it on the podcast because it's kind of a secret spot in my mind with you that I think you and it's near Yellowstone, but I think you and it's a backcountry trip and it might take us like 20 some miles to get there.
Oh shit.
But I think this valley is going to be full of elk and deer and bear and wolves and coyotes and like, to me, it's like one of those places where I think this goddamn place is so goddamn remote
Yeah.
that it's gotta be.
Well, the real question is, would you be able to make it 20 miles?
We're gonna have to. If we bring food,
Well, 20 miles, of course you're bringing food. You still got to be able to physically do it.
See, I think no. See, I think if we eat before Hawaii, I don't puke, and I think if we eat up at the lake on the glacier one on Iceberg Lake, if we have dinner up there, I'm fine because we didn't eat all day. We didn't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to do a fucking 8 mile round because it's 4 miles up, 4 miles back.
Yeah. Actually, I don't remember what we did in Hawaii.
Oh,
But
that I'm talking the glacier. I don't know.
Glacier.
I think it was 4 up, 4 down.
Yeah. I think we ate something
I
before.
didn't. See, I didn't.
It's because you a dum dum.
I'm a dum dum.
Yeah.
And but if we went to Carlsbad Caverns or we did that 7 mile hike up on top, and that's another thing too. I kind of want to point out where we kind of wandered off there. But with some of these cave parks or these parks that have certain features like that, where it's just one feature, but they have a lot of land, like Mammoth Cave, same thing. Like there's stuff to do up on top of the cave. Like it's a forest, it's campgrounds, it's
100%. If you're not into looking at the cave, you can still go and see that there's more than 50 miles of above ground trails that you can explore the desert landscape there in Carlsbad Caverns. So there's plenty to do other than looking at rock.
I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Would you ride a bucket down into a cave?
Would I ride a bucket? How big's the bucket?
Well, here's the story.
Okay.
Guano miners, the guano in the caves was used for fertilizer. Once used a bucket to lower themselves in and out of Carlsbad Caverns from 1923 to 1925. Visitors descended into the caves via the same guano bucket system. Maybe this is why Carlsbad Caverns' original four-letter abbreviation was CACA, CACA. Only two people could fit into the bucket at the time. Now there's a more modern elevator which can fit up to 16 visitors and makes the caverns much more accessible. Even with the guano, I kind of wish the bucket ride was still an option though.
Maybe. I think if
Two
the bucket
people?
was as big as like one you'd see like a hot air balloon kind of like
Yeah.
bucket thing, I think I would ride one of those down.
It said two people. And like in reality, you do like olden times back in the 20s, like that, you kind of had like bucket elevator systems, like they called them that, right?
Yeah. So I mean, maybe I'd ride a bucket down into Kaka, but
Be fun.
that's actually a hilarious nickname for it. Because the bat guano mining was like all over the research I did for this one. You just see that they kept mining the guano for for the fertilizer and stuff. So it's funny that Kaka is the abbreviation or the nickname for it.
Well, it makes sense because when you get into those places, like the national parks, they do have a lot of resources. They have a lot of natural resources, and those natural resources like to be exploited for oil, for whatever, and like for fertilizer, whatever it may be. Like that's how some of these things are. Like the railroad, like with Glacier, like they were using it as a way to get through the mountains. Glacier Park kind of had that vibe. Logan's Pass was that easy point to build a road over. You know what I mean? Like different feats are also happening in these national parks on like the man-made side too, which is kind of interesting.
100%.
So I was kind of thinking of getting into sport fishing again, but I feel like I need a good quality net.
Well, you know what, Reverend? I got the key solution for you. Our friends at Blue Ribbon Net make this eco-friendly aquafade bag, so you're not hurting the environment. It's 100% biodegradable. Plus, the wood is locally sourced, and it is also biodegradable, and it's just such a great company to use. The Blue Ribbon Nets, they're here in Bozeman, Montana, and we even have a discount code. That's right. If you use the code Rougarou10, that's right. That's my Jeep, the Rougarou. Rougarou10, RUGARU10. You're going to get some discount on a Blue Ribbon net. You can get the long one if you're fishing the big fish, or you can get just the good river one, if you're like me and just want to catch a lot of fish.
So again, make sure you go check out Blue Ribbon and use the promo code Rougarou10.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING WAYS, and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
Not all things are about Carlsbad Caverns. Not all the beautiful and cool stuff is there. There's cool shit everywhere. Cool shit in nature, which means it's time for showing you some cool shit in nature. Actually, I've got a couple wild ones this week, or at least the second one it's wild to me anyway. But the first one's a cool thing, actually, I think. But we'll show the first one. The first one's very chill. The second one, if you're squeamish or you kind of get scared, maybe the second one's not for you. But here comes the first one. It's tapping a rubber tree.
Oh,
which I think is kind of cool. They're going to get some latex out of the tree, which I think is just kind of rather fascinating. And
yeah.
here it is over time, but essentially it's just making the tree bleed.
I mean, it's got to come from somewhere, right?
100%, but it's just one of those things. I don't know if you always think about it when you're where it comes from, and then seeing it come out of the tree like that is really kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think like, well, I mean, they do say there is arguments that's the Vietnam War part of the reason we were in Vietnam was for the rubber trees. Or maybe
I
it was
you know
like Korean. No,
I don't know.
I think it was one of those that there was like it's different than like you think it'd be similar to like maple syrup, but it's different.
Yeah, right. You would, but yeah, it is. It is different. Anyways, here's the second one, and again, if you're a little faint of the heart, for the people just watching at home, this one's probably it's a tiger attack. If you're curious,
Oh, this is the one that like goes after the dude, huh?
yeah. I mean, and it's a great kind of view of it because it's a guy's up in a tree, and you just see he gets taken down by a tiger.
See, like low key, like I'm all for wildlife like attacking people because like look at that. Like this tiger is forced to live like on these farm fields with that road there. Like these people are probably trying to take pictures of it. They're stressing it out, you know. Look at all those people. Look at like lined up. Like it's like a bear jam in Yellowstone, you know?
Oh,
Like
100%.
don't get close to the fucker. You're
Yeah.
stressed. It's a cat. Like you can see that it's like kind of in the very beginning, like it's running around that road. Like don't mess with me. And then it just takes off. Like it takes the guy down, but it realizes like I'm not going to kill the guy. I'm just scared.
Yeah, he basically was just he took it down and was like, "Yo, leave me the fuck alone."
Yeah.
But no, this was a wild one. Yeah, I never thought I'd see like a full tiger attack on video like that.
Well, now you have. Check it out.
I,
Check it out.
I know the more that's why you gotta keep listening, keep watching to the Wandering Ways podcast because you're gonna see shit, you're gonna hear shit that you never thought you'd really hear or see. So it's like it's a bonus for everyone.
It really is. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see some of the videos you do share and you do come up with and find because it just gets that creative mind going, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know getting back into the Carlsbad Cavern, right? They're one of the parks that requires a reservation, a timed entry reservation.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, but it may be because of how like it is like with getting into the cavern itself, right?
Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's probably because of the elevator. If your
Right.
elevator only fits, what did it say, 16 people?
Yeah, that's what it said. Yeah, like, and that's probably
You
how the
know,
tours go down, you know, about 16 in a tour plus the guy, you know, like,
yeah,
yeah.
they've
Um,
probably they've probably been timed entry, whatnot. They've just under a different name for a long time.
no, you're probably absolutely right. Um, so that's actually, I'm looking at the top 10 tips for visiting Carlsbad Caverns from Rangers. That's the number one is obtain a reservation. Number two is only consume clean water in Carlsbad Cavern. Only clean water can be consumed to protect the cavern.
Oh, so maybe Carlsbad Cavern can dethrone Bryce Canyon for some damn good water.
I, we might have to check it out. You can explore Bad Cavern on your own along two trails, the big room and the natural entrance. Hike time is about 1.5 hours for the big room trail and 1 hour for the steep natural entrance trail.
Oh, that would be cool. I mean, you can do having the both options is kind of cool. Um, to
Right.
be able to do a tour or do the big room would be really cool to go see for sure.
Uh,
Carlsbad Cavern, it's home to one of the 10 longest caves in the world and one of the four longest in the United States, and the second deepest limestone
Oh
cave
wow.
in the country. It's famous, first seen on TV or made famous on TV in the Planet Earth series. It's and I'm going to butcher this name, the Lecugula Cave, or Lechuguilla,
Hmm.
um, which is really cool. It's got actually kind of a really cool story. Um, they used to think it was just this little like 90-foot entrance pit that led to like 400 feet of just dry end passages. But I guess in the 1950s, some cavers heard wind roaring up from the rubble. And finally, a group of cavers gained access or permission from the National Park Service and began digging in 1984. And voila! The breakthrough into large walking passages occur in May 26 in 1986. The fourth longest cave in the United States and one of the 10 longest in the world was discovered.
Wow, that's not that long ago.
I know, right? And to think that, like, for the longest time, they thought it was just this, like, kind of like small, though. They're like, yeah, we don't need to check that out.
No, that's cool that they found it. Right here they say that the cave too is also pack a jacket because it's about 56 degrees in the cave year round.
But is 56 warm or is 56 cold?
Depends on where you're from, cowboy.
True. It says it's also very humid in the caves. So 56 and humid. So when you're going, understand that it's 56 and humid pretty much year round. So when you go, plan accordingly. Wear a jacket or don't wear a jacket if that's not your thing. I probably recommend clothes though. It's kind of frowned upon to just wander around in a national park with nothing on.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, it's a cool little park. I mean, it's not that big. When it comes down to like some of the national parks and things to do, like the main feature is the cave itself, and so you're able to do that on your own. They have the visitor center. They have ranger guided tours, which is probably be something if the Wandering Ways team made it down there. We'd probably sign up for one of these tours.
We would do a tour for sure. And then I know myself personally, I think I would go and check out what they have in Carlsbad Caverns known as the Bat Flight Program.
I
It
was just
runs
looking
from
at that.
late May through October, no reservations needed, and it takes place in the natural entrance to Carlsbad Caverns, at the Bat Flight Amphitheater. You'll be treated to a ranger talk beforehand, and then you'll see the main event around sunset, which is when thousands of bats begin to their daily exit from the caverns in search of insects to eat, which would be absolutely wild to watch.
I'd be about it. I do think that would be cool. They also have a night sky programs. So I feel like if you are offering those, you have the like dark skies as well. So you go from the
Yeah.
bats to the stars. Like uh, seeing that many bats would be really freaking cool,
Yeah,
even
it
though I'm
would.
not a bat guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, bats are. I mean, seeing that many bats fly in and out of it or out of a cave like that is just it's gonna be cool. I think regardless if you're huge into bats or not. Maybe you're just Batman, but maybe you're not. But whatever, it's gonna be cool to see all those bats.
No, I think I agree with you in that sense that it would be cool to see things like that. I mean, just the things they do. Just like what is that? The sparrow or the one in Rome, the bird, this
Oh, with all the like barn swallow big ones that just move. And
Yeah, they look like waves in the sky.
yeah, I was reading something, and it was talking about how birds are able to do that, and how there's like they feel the vibrations and they interact with the environment off the like vibrations. So like they're moving in that big like wave kind of because they're
Mhm.
responding to each individual kind of like bird's movement. So if one bird slightly gets off trail, the reason why you get the whole wave is because each every bird next to in line is making a reaction. And it was I'm not doing a very good job at explaining it. And also the book I was reading that was explaining it was also just a book on like human movement, not like bird movement. So it was just a
Okay.
slight side story to it. So it wasn't the most detail.
No, it makes sense. I mean, it's yeah, like it's the like if you move to the right, I'm gonna move to the right.
Yeah, kind of. Where it's
Yeah.
just and it's very instinctive. There's no real plan. It's just, oh, they just go and they're just darting around doing their thing.
I was really curious because they had a sign or a note saying they're very like about what water can go inside the caves. No food, no flavored water, no nothing like that. Like they don't let anything in because they don't want to attract any animals other than like the bats that live there. So I was curious, like, okay, so like, yeah, you have some land, some forests. I was curious what they had around there. They have coyote, gray fox, bobcat, mountain lion, weasels, badgers, skunks, raccoons. They even have black bears,
There you
javelina,
go.
deer, pronghorn, uh, Barbary sheep, rodents. But they
Yeah,
got
they
they got
got
some animals there too. If you're into that,
all sorts of wildlife.
I
When you get on nature, you're bound to see some wildlife.
hey, that's always a question I'm asking when we go
It
to the
is.
parks. I think there's something about it. I'm about it, and then you could do if you're not necessarily about the wildlife and you got kids, you can do the ranger programs. They always got those at these parks.
Yeah, that's true too. No, whenever we do the wildlife portion, I'm always waiting for to hear the black bear, because I'm waiting for the first park we come across in this ABCs that doesn't have a black bear as like it's a attraction. It's gonna be like, America's Samoa or something like that. That ends up not having it, because not all the parks have black bears, but sure
Right.
damn feels like they do.
Right. Well, especially anywhere in the continental US, like you're going like it's like you throw a dart and you're going to hit a black bear. Um, I feel like I kind of to wander a little bit. So our interview with Big Red Eye and
Oh,
his
yes.
Bigfoot adventures, he talks about the bear maps and using bear sighting maps as a way of like correlating with Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like you throw, like I just said, you throw a dart, you find a black bear. Like you're not surprised to come across black bears. But so it's like, is Bigfoot a possibility in all these places too?
And that's why we go. That's why we go to these parks and we do our reviews. So that way, um, we at the end, we always ask that question. What's the chance of seeing Bigfoot? And we give you our rating. So that way, if there's a solid chance to see Bigfoot in all these parks.
Hey, low key, Carlsbad Caverns, there's a chance you're kind of in that New Mexico area. You have the like if kind of close to Apache, I think, down there. You're in those kind of mountains in that area. White Sands National Park is also real close. You even, if you want to go into Mexico, right? The Guadalupe Mountains National Park is right, like you're really close to the border in
Ah,
Carlsbad.
there you go.
So Guadalupe Mountains National Park is right there on the border. So
That'd be cool.
yeah, might as well if you're down there.
Yeah, might as well. But anyways, we've wandered here, we've wandered there, we've wandered all around some fun facts about Carlsbad Caverns, but it is time for our final words. I got to be that guy. So, final words, my guy.
Hey, yeah, no, my final word, I do want to remind you if you are going down to Carlsbad Caverns. I mean, if we were to do it, I'd say fall, spring. Summers are hot. They can get temperatures in the 100s and 90s, and the desert heat can get hot, hot, hot. But you're in a cave, 56 degrees might be better. Definitely a place I want to get going to. Living in New Mexico, I think we may have gone down there. I'm not 100% sure. I was a little kid at the time if we did. So it's one of those places I want to get to because I do want to get to a lot of our national parks, if not all of them, and tell you about them. So one day, hopefully, we can talk about Carlsbad Caverns as of us going there. But until then, we got other places to go. We got, is it Iceland coming up here soon? Maybe still a couple
Well,
months
it's not
away.
coming up that soon, but it is coming.
Hey, man, one can dream. All right, pass it on over to you.
Reverend's final words of wisdom say, beautiful, everybody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for sticking all the way through. We finished up another wonderful ABC's episode of the parks. We'll keep going on, chugging through. We have at least a few more. We're still in the seas, so we're going to be doing this for a while. We'll get to your park. Yeah, I know people are anxious. I've been getting asked. It's alphabetical. So if you're telling me about a park that starts with M, understand that that comes a little bit later down the trail. But we'll get to you. Just go out there, be beautiful people, see beautiful things, do some beautiful stuff. Just keep going. And again, shout out to I Know Squatch wearing the shirt today. They got some cool stuff. But with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.